Do you want to sound like a native Portuguese speaker? Well, it's not just about the language. It's about culture. So let me show you how you can master both. Olá, I'm Sara. I'm Portuguese. I'm Lisbon. I'm a Portuguese teacher, and I'm here to help you enter the Portuguese world. So you need to be aware of this cultural fluency. So we need to learn specific key expressions. For example, então, it's very casual for hello. It could be something like what's up. Então, for example, with my brother, I have a younger brother. We are so close and we are family that it will be very weird for me to say to him, Olá, boa tarde, boa noite. Just bom dia would be normal if we were living in the same house. We wake up in the morning and then we say, good morning. Mr. Bem, how was your sleep? Right? So, bom dia. Olá doesn't sound that normal for me, at least. There's no problem with olá, but então is a very good option as well. No. And sometimes, because I really focus on teaching my students and also here in this YouTube channel, I really focus on talking about how the Portuguese actually speak and the sounds that we were supposed to pronounce, but we don't. Let me tell you that sometimes we don't say então. We just say tão or atão. So it's one syllable, first syllable in the beginning, that changes. We can just remove it or we replace it with a, which is a completely different sound. Atão. Atão. Tão. Tão. If you want to know more about this swallowing, eating process of not pronouncing everything, you can check my link down below. It's about the Understand the Portuguese course, which is all about all these reductions, the things are written down, but the Portuguese in daily life don't pronounce. And most likely no one ever taught you this. And that's the reason for most people struggle to understand Portuguese in real life. So if you are interested, check that out. So, então, and there's another word, pois. 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 Pois, pois. Pois. Different intonation, but the same word. Pois. So this pois is very specific of European Portuguese. And most of the times you don't see this word in your textbook, but in real life we use this a lot. It's like, yeah, when we want to agree. But you are going to listen to this, and when you listen, you notice the intonation, and depending on the context, it may vary a little bit, although it always means yeah. Because you can use this pois if in a very assertive way, yes, because you really believe it. You say pois, pois é, pois. Someone is complaining and you agree, and you say pois. You really agree, pois. But let's say that it's a sensitive topic. You are not quite comfortable for whatever reason. You don't want to say yes. You don't want to say no. So, but you need to say something. What should you do? Say, pois. Pois. Pois, é complicado. It's complicated. Pois. With this intonation. That's a phrase, sentence, expression, also very interesting, which is logo se vê. Logo se vê. Logo se vê. Logo means later, and ver is the verb to see. Oh, we'll see that later. go with the flow. Well, kind of go with the flow. Lox fe means okay. We're not going to solve this problem now. We are not going to check that now. We're not going to see, because the verb to see in Portuguese can also be used as check, right? So when we can't do something now or solve an issue now, and we're going to say that we're going to do it later, you can use this expression, logo se vê. But when we are just avoiding doing something, we are avoiding a problem, situation. When we want to pretend that we are going to do it, we are going to deal with that problem, issue, situation, but we don't really want to, we can also say, logo se vê. Logo se vê. And if you're not addressing this issue, the situation right now, maybe it's not that important for you. So you say with this intonation, logo se vê. Logo se vê. Não é importante. It's not important. Logo se vê. Portuguese do this very often. Logo se vê. Se vê. Depois eu trato disso. Later on, I deal with it. Logo se vê. So, as you can see, it's the sentence, the actual meaning, the context, and intonation. So, these sentences make you sound natural and show that you understand the culture. Maybe in the same situations that I just explained, maybe you, in your culture, in your community, your regional community, you would say something else. Maybe a different intonation, maybe a different expression. Maybe you will use, for example, the first example that I gave you, então. Então can be used as what's up. What's up? Então. Very informal for hi. But the first meaning of the word então is so, then, but here, because it's in a different context, it means something else. Maybe in your native language, when you want to say hi in a more informal way, you use a word that maybe in another context means something else. And probably that word doesn't mean so, but that's the case in Portuguese. So based on the culture, we are going to say things in a different way. A very common example is when we say how old we are. As in Portuguese, I say, I have 29 years old. And in Portuguese, it's just normal. I have 29 years old. But we know that this is not how we say it in English. In English, it is, I am 29 years old, which is the case. I am 29 years old. But in Portuguese, it's not the verb that we use. We use the verb to have. Eu tenho 29 anos. You may think that doesn't make sense. And it doesn't in English, but it does in Portuguese. It's a different language and it's a different culture. So my advice for you is to watch movies, even if you watch with English subtitles. Of course, it depends on your Portuguese language level. But even if you watch Portuguese series and movies with Portuguese with English subtitles, and you are just watching the movie because you just watch a movie, as you would watch any other movie because you just have a good time. You want to have a good time. You want to have fun. Because of the plot, because it's in Portuguese, is in a Portuguese context, you will learn the culture. You will learn how people react in very different situations. So even if you are watching a movie and you're not learning Portuguese, you are learning the culture, you are learning how people act, which is also important if you want to thrive in Portugal, having a life in Portugal. You have a bag and you fill your bag with information, with experiences, with emotions. Okay, one of the most main things that movie makers, that actors really want to do, is to make the viewer feel this emotion, feel this feeling. So a story itself is very attached to human emotions. That's why humans, we love to watch movies, TV series, soap operas, because of the story, because of the emotion. And if you connect those things, story, the emotion, with learning Portuguese, it will be so much better for you than just a regular textbook that says that John went to work at 9 and finished worked at 6 and came home and had lunch. And you don't care about this person. It's not something meaningful for you, right? Do you have any thoughts on this? Does this make sense to you? If it makes sense to you, share with me in the comments below. Tell me your thoughts about this. Follow my YouTube channel because I'm coming up with so much more content about entering the Portuguese world, having a life, learning the language, and having meaningful relationships with the Portuguese. I also have a complete course to help you understand the Portuguese. The name is actually Understand the Portuguese, which focus exactly in helping you understand Portuguese when they swallow sounds, why they swallow sounds. It explains why written Portuguese is so different from spoken Portuguese. You may think that the weird way that the Portuguese speak is weird, it's random, but it's not. There are some patterns that you can learn to improve your listening skills. And in that course, I also teach you how you can improve your hearing, how can you improve your listening skills with different kind of techniques. So I hope you enjoyed this video and I will see you in the next one. Ciao!